All right. So looking into chapter 3 here, this is international operations and operational and international investment appraisal. So we'll look into international operations and international investment appraisal. So let's look into these two topics here. Again, very simple and easier part of the syllabus. I think something that we can quickly get around. Starting off the first part here. So it's basically in the previous chapter we looked how closely investment appraisal was on the main decision that an investment manager makes. So we looked into the focus was on investment decisions of an investment manager. The how as an investment manager they can make decisions. That was the main focus in the previous chapter. In this chapter we will have other things that we will look into. And when we say the other things, what are the things that we mean? We will look into how they are making sure that they're making the right decisions for the organization, then we're getting the highest return on their investment. These will be the other decisions under investment appraisal. So in the previous chapter, we looked into the investment appraisal, which is one of the main decisions that has to be made by a financial manager. What this is chapter about. Okay. In this chapter, we will see a lot more. Our considerations have been restricted to organization in a single domestic market. For example, none of our investment appraisal involve foreign projects. In this chapter, we will start seeing foreign projects. Okay, so up till now we looked into whether we should do an investment or not. Now the particular chapter that we are starting is going to tell us about foreign projects. Should we invest in a foreign project or not? Right now it will start that should we invest in foreign project or not? That will be the main focus here. And in the foreign project, you will see there will be a lot of cash flows that are foreign currency denominated. The cash flows will be foreign currency denominated. Okay, so first we look into investment decisions in the first part of the chapter. We look into the roles of a financial manager. Along with that, we looked into basic investment appraisal that we had already studied in FM. Now we are looking into the main crux focus of the AFM syllabus here. And here we are looking into those projects which are in a foreign currency. So when a project is in a foreign currency, you have to first, two things you have to decide that is it uh, good to do or is it reliable to do in that country, and after that you convert everything, bring it to your currency and see if it's still reliable or not. So this is a challenge that comes into. Okay, before we did investment appraisal for domestic companies using a single currency, that in India only we have a project, should we do it, should we not do it. Now we are looking into MNCs where we have to do international trade. Okay, we are looking into MNCs where we are going to do international trade. It adds a lot of extra complexity, like forex it gets added, tax gets added, risk gets added. So a lot of complexity that gets added that we will see in this particular chapter. Moving on to this chapter, first introduces the concept of an international trade where we are trading in an international country and multinational companies. Okay, and then looks into additional complexities like making investment in an international market. So this chapter will introduce all of that. We'll look into it. That is an introduction about this chapter. Up till now, we just look closely into investment decisions in a single currency. Now we'll look into making investment decision out of a domestic market into an international market, and still how can we make sense of that investment. Under this, first we'll look into what is a multinational company. It gets more than 25% of its sales from countries other than its own. Right? It gets 25% of its sales in a country other than its own. That is called as a multinational company, because it's just in many countries that is multinational. It's get at least 25% of sales from activities in countries other than its own. That is called as multinational company. Okay. So why do companies trade internationally in the first place? Is because first one, choice, more variety of goods, and second, competition. More competition in the domestic market, they will go international. Right, we can see that companies are multinational, increasing the modern business organization trading with customer supply in different countries. It is useful to consider why this happens and what are the advantages. So practical reasons for international trading. Why do people trade internationally? Okay, so we look into why do people trade internationally? What are the benefits of trading international? So practically, why do companies trade internationally? First of all, choice. You get goods we can't make at home or they become too expensive. Like for example, there'll be no bananas in UK without imports. So bananas are generally imported. Right? You can get goods which you would not get at your home country. Right? So that is first thing is choice. The diversity of goods available in domestic countries increased through the import and goods that can be uneconomic or impossible to produce at home. Right? There's no banana in UK without imports, so it gives choice for those goods that cannot be made domestically. Like in India, getting oil. Right? UAE they have oil under the ground, so they can get it from there. In India, we can't get the oil like that. Next is competition. More foreign firms. Right? If there are more foreign firms, the price will fall. Plus innovation will be there. Plus new products. So it's good for the competitors. So like see, Apple is an international brand today, ruling our Indian market. Right? Apple is an international brand that's ruling our Indian market if you think about it. Okay, that's the power of Apple. It's an international brand. It's not a brand that is from India, right? So when more foreign firms also come into the mix, you will see the prices of the products will fall. The price of the products will fall, and there will be more innovation and there will be more new products. Now there will be more pressure on the companies that are already existing. Next, economies of scale, right? You can sell to the world. You can make in the home market, you can sell in the world. And when you make it for the whole world, your per unit cost, you will produce in such large quantities that your per unit cost will fall. Okay, so when you make it for the whole world, you will have to make in such large quantities that your per unit cost will fall. Okay, when you make it for the whole world, you will make it in such large quantities that your per unit cost will fall. Next, specialization. Each country makes what it's best at. The total output goes up, right? So what happens? Each country can just focus on what it's good at. Germany can just make cars. India can just make agricultural products, right? So certain countries, Middle East can just work on oil, right? So that gives specialization so that you can sell to the entire world and still make a lot of money. Because when you're good at something, you have abundance of something. Your people are very good at that. So why not just focus on that one thing? Okay, so if a country specializes in producing the goods and services at which it is most efficient, it can maximize its economic output. What it can do is it can just maximize its economic output. Okay, it can maximize its economic output. This is the practical reasons for international trading. Okay, that is the meaning of practical reasons for international trading. Right, so you'll have more choice because some goods can't be made in your local country. Next, if you have more competition, then because of that, there'll be better pricing, more innovation in that particular product segment. Economies of scale, if you produce in such large quantities because you have to cater to the entire world, then you'll produce in such large quantities that your per unit cost will become very less. And then specialization. If the country specializes in producing the goods and services at which it is most efficient, it can maximize its economic output. Right? What it can do is it can maximize its economic output. What it can do is it can maximize its economic output. That is about the specialization. If a country specializes in producing the goods and services at which it is most efficient, it can maximize its economic output. That is about the practical reasons. Okay, so we understood what are we studying in this chapter, that we are doing a project that is abroad. Then we understood what is a multinational company. Then we understood what are some practical reasons for trading abroad. Right? If you trade abroad, there are some big benefits there. Choice, competition, economies, and specialization are some of them. Okay, we're looking at the illustration over here that if no international trade, there will be no bananas or tropical fruits year round in UK. Right? And no bananas or tropical fruits anywhere will not be there in UK any time of the year, right? And vegetables will only be there when there is a season, right? There will be a shortage of raw materials and metals. Less obviously, some countries would be chronically short of some basic metals because in some countries you just don't get some kind of metals, right? Then countries will be forced to make things inefficiently, right? And if that happens, many countries would also be increasingly dependent on energy imports. Overall, world economic output will fall because now countries will have to make their own things and very inefficiently. They don't even have the setup. Somehow they will try to do it and somehow they'll try to make it, they'll make it very inefficiently. So it's better they can buy it from someone who has a lot of it, right? It's better to buy oil from Middle East because if we try to produce oil, we'll have to spend a lot of money and it will done very inefficiently. But the natural resources are already there in Middle East, so it's better to take it from them and give them what they don't have. We will give what we don't have, we can take from them, right? So overall world output will also grow because if we start making things inefficiently, you will see world output will start to fall. Okay, if we start making things inefficiently, we'll see that the world output starts falling. Okay, so that's a good start to this. But however, we will plan to have one more session during this week, during